Hey everyone. So this video is again going to be on AutoBuyer. So I will be showing it to you how to install it and how you can use the AutoBuyer. Okay. So most people are still having some issue with installing the AutoBuyer. So I just wanted to cover that once again. So to install the AutoBuyer, all you need to do is you need to go to Chrome extension and search for tamper-mokey. Okay. And then click on this. I will directly give you this link so you can click on that and navigate here and give add to Chrome. Okay, so as and when it got added, you just pin the extension so it will be easy to use it. Okay, and then you come to my release page. So from here, what you need to do is you have to click on this user.js. So most people were downloading this zip file, that's why they are having the issue. So don't download the zip. Instead, you click on this user.js. And before clicking on this, make sure you already installed the tamper-mokey, because when you click on this, tamper-mokey will automatically detect this file and give you this option. So if you don't have tamper-mokey installed, when clicking on this, this will just download rather than opening this page. So just to make sure that you have tamper-mokey before clicking on this, then all you need to do is click on install. Okay. So now if you refresh in tamper-mokey, you have to see this one batch. Okay, so this says one script is successfully loaded for this site. So if you click on this, you will be able to see which script is that. So this is our script which is successfully loaded now. So if you get this one batch, that means the script is successfully installed, and even in web app now you should see this auto buyer option. So now I will quickly show you some of the main settings which you need. So this particular section, right, it's for searching a player. Okay, so before bot can buy or bid on an item, it needs some card, right? So that's what you will be giving here. So for example, if you wanted to buy gold common with max price as 450, so this is the criteria you will fill here. And when you click on start, you'll get all the gold common with max prices 450. Okay, suppose if you are looking for any particular player, you can just give that player's name here, and then you will see all the play card related to that player. So now that we have the search result, to command the bot to buy that item, what you need to do is you have to click give buy price, or you can give bid price. So if you wanted to use buy now, you have to give buy price, or if you just want to bid on the item, you can use bid price. Okay, so I will use buy price. So again, I will clear the filter, go back to gold common. Since I don't have lots of kind, I'm using gold common because it's the cheapest to get. Maybe we can use gold bronze common as well, but if I buy gold common, I can resell it. So that's the reason I'm buying gold common. So again, buy price I'll give as 450. So this number of cards, right, what it means is the number of cards the bot has to buy before stopping. So since the value is 10 by default, it will buy 10 cards and stop. If you wanted to have more cards, you can give 1000. Okay, so for example, I will give it to you, give one, so you will understand what it will do. So start. So someone else has won this card. Okay, so let's wait for the next search. So here we were successfully able to win this card, and since we didn't give any sale price, next I will cover this. It moved to the club. Okay, and okay, I stopped it before the bot automatically stopped. Let me start it again. Okay, so it bought this card. Since we gave buy prices only one, right, so what it will do is now it will automatically stop rather than we need to stop it. So if you see bot stopped because for this search you give buy prices only one, I mean by number of cards to buy is only one. Okay, so by default it will stop for 10 because the default value is 10. Make sure to increase it, like if you're wondering why the bot is automatically getting stopped. Okay, so these two are for bid price. So again, these are self-explanatory. So it will try to bid for the price which you gave. And here, like if you see for each of the card we have this expires on, right? So if you specify some time, only cards within this range it will try to bid it. Okay. For example, if you give 15 seconds, it will only bid on cards which will expire in the next 15 seconds. So, and by default it is 1 hour. So for the next 1 hour, what all cards is going to be expired, it will try to bid it. Okay. And this bid exact, so what it does is, suppose if you give bid price as 450, and if bot finds a card where it could bid for 400, by default it will bid for only 400. It will try to bid for as low as possible. Sometimes that might be the behavior you need, and if you don't want that behavior, you can enable this so that the bot will directly bid 450 rather than trying to find the min price possible. Okay. So these are the things we have in by bit settings. Okay, so now like in cell settings, uh, once the bot is successfully able to purchase the card, what it should do, should it sell or should it move to the club or should it move to the transfer list? So that's what you configure here. So if you don't give anything, it will move to the club. As you can see, suppose if I give sell price as 500, so what it will do is it will buy the card. Okay, so someone else has won it. So it will buy the card and then try to sell for 500. Okay, so error 461 means someone else has won the card. Okay, so it's nothing scary. So I'm working on a change where instead of getting this error code, you will directly get the error message. So that will be coming in shortly. Okay, so this is what it does. It buys for 450 and it's sold for 500. Okay. So suppose if you don't want to hard code a value here, what you can use is you can use the food bin price. So after the card successfully purchased, it will use the food bin's price API to list the card. Okay. Again, you can specify the percentage here. So for example, if the food bin's price was 500, if you wanted to list only for 90% so that your card will sell faster, here you can configure the percentage. Okay. So if I clear the log, start again. Okay, so I mean, it's I bought for 450 and selling for 350. So actually, this is loss for me. But here, if you see, the food bin price for this player is 400. So 90% of 400, like it won't exactly take 90%. Instead, it will try to find a proper value which EA API will accept. So whatever value you can give here, right, to that value it will round off here. Okay, so that's why you're seeing like 350 instead of proper 90%, and for that price it is selling. So these are the things we have in selling, and this selling threshold is, suppose there might be a case where like you sniped a like a really high rated player and you don't want to sell it, you wanted to keep it yourself, right? So you can use rating threshold. So for example, if you see this, will remove it so it will be 100%. So since we are using gold common, all the player will have rating at least as 75. So if I give rating as 74 here, so I'm telling only players whose rating is lesser than or equal to 74 sell it. So if I start now, so here even though I gave like find sell price, it won't calculate the sell price. Instead, it moved to the club because my rating threshold was 74 and this player's rating was 76. Okay. Suppose if I change this to 80, now after successfully buying it, it will try to list the card. Okay. So now if you see, it is selling because our rating threshold is 80 and this player's rating is 75. So these are the things we have in cell settings. Okay, so let me clear the log, and to show it to you, it's actually selling. You can come here and if you see, this is the player we recently bought and this is the player we bought in previous search, and if you see, the one which I listed for 350 got sold immediately. Yeah, so let me go to the next settings, which is the search settings. Okay, So in search settings, what you can do is you can filter the result to furthermore. For example, even after getting the result, you can say only bid on the items whose rating is between this and this. Okay. So for example, I am again using gold command, right? If I use like 60 and 70 and maybe 74, and you know all the gold common will be greater than 74. If I start now, so you'll get this warning: skip rating does not fit the criteria. Okay, so your rating is 76 and we are telling only bit between 60 and 74. So that's what it does. So you can give either one of the values. So by default it will be 10 and this will be 100. So you can give any one of these value. And what these two does is these are to avoid the cache result. So like if you use the same criteria again and again, there might be chances where you get the same cached result, right? So to avoid that, what you can do is you can toggle this random bit. So for each of the criteria it will incrementally change the for each of the searches it will incrementally change the random bit so that you won't get the cached result. Okay, so if I start now, okay, maybe make it run for two searches. So this is one search, and let it do one more search. So here you can find when the next search is going to happen. Stop. Okay. So here if you see, the initially it started from 150. Okay, then it changed the random bit to 200. Okay, so it will keep on increasing till the value is specified here. As and when it reaches this value, then it will keep decrementing to 0, then again keep incrementing to this value. That way this will happen. So you can choose between random min bid or min buy based on what you want. You can choose. Okay, and skip goalkeeper is again similar to these things. So here what it will do is if the player is a goalkeeper, then it won't buy the card. Okay, so here I will choose position as goalkeeper, and since I have toggled the skip goalkeepers, since the criteria is goalkeeper, I'm going to get all the cards which is a goalkeeper, and it will skip because here we give skip goalkeeper. And yeah, if you remove it, it will try to buy it. Okay, so maybe I will remove the food bean price and give hard coded value because it's selling for loss for me. I don't want to lose the coins. And if you see, my current profit is minus 297. So safety settings. Okay, so what this does is between each searches, like what how much seconds it has to wait. So if you give 7 to 15, it will find a random time between 7 to 15 and wait for that. Okay, so by default it's 7 to 15, so you can see it from log itself. So for example, if you see, this search happened on 30:03. Okay, so the next happened on 18, so not 18 exactly, 17. So like 14 seconds. So 7 to 15, it picked the 14th second. For example, here if I give 2 to 3 and click on start. Okay, so if you see, this search happened on 31:21 and the next search happened within 2 seconds. Okay, so that's what this. And like the lesser the value, the more chances of you getting soft band or you getting capture. So this value worked fine for me in the previous FIFA. I actually don't have the game room, so I'm not exactly sure what value works fine. So this is something which you need to experiment and find, like uh, based on what you're getting soft band or how frequent you're getting capture, right? Based on that, you need to update it here. So like this again, what it does is for each of the search, how much card it should buy. So by default is 1. So if I start, see, if you see, it bought 1 card and here it says exceeds the number of bits or buy per search, because here we give only 1, right? If you give 2, Okay, so it will try to buy two cards. Okay, and mostly if you give two, it definitely won't work because by the time the bot bids on the first card and then goes to the second card, either the card will be won by someone or EA will find like the a gap between these two searches are these two bits are not humanly possible. Okay, so that's the reason what it will do. What EA will do is they will just reject your request. So always give one rather than giving some high value. Okay, and pass cycle is like for how much number of searches the bot has to pass. Okay, so like as a human you won't be keep on bidding on web app, right? You'll take some breaks, you'll take some interval. So to stimulate that behavior we have this pass cycle. So here you can specify how much searches it has to perform before passing the auto buyer. Okay, and for this pass cycle you can give this pass for as well. So how much seconds or how much minute it has to pass before resuming the auto buyer. So here if I give search as 2 and this I'll give 3 to 5 so that I can demonstrate it quickly, and pass for I'll give maybe 8, 5 to 8. Okay, clear, start. Okay, so it now it performed two searches, so it will pass the auto buyer. Okay, so it will wait for 5 to 8 seconds, then the auto buyer will be resumed. So that's what this does. And what this is, after purchasing an item, if you want to add some manual delay, so by default we have this delay, right? On top of that, if you want few more delays, you can toggle this and then configure how much second it has to wait. So after purchasing the card, in this scenario it will wait for 5 seconds. Okay, and stop after. So here you can specify the time till when the bot should run. So by default the bot will run only for 1 hour and then it will get automatically stopped. So if you want to have more, for example, if you want to run for 6 hours, you can give 6 edge. Okay, so I'll quickly show it to you how that works. So if I give maybe 5 seconds and then click on start, so the bot will run only for 5 seconds and then it will automatically stop. Okay, so that's what stop after does. And then like this filter setting is for multi filter behavior. For example, so for you have these filter values, right? So each time for you to manually enter it like might be hard to do, right? So what you can do is you can just save a filter. So if I give demo filter, so this filter will be now saved. Okay, so now you can toggle between different filters and then for each of the filter whatever value you give will be there. So similarly you can see all the filters so these are the filters I saved it before. So here you will find all your filters. Okay, and so in this filter setting what it does is if you want to run more than one filter at a time, here you can specify it. So if I and here you can specify the number of search before the filter is switched. Okay, so by default for each of the filter it will do 3 searches and then it will switch to different filter. For example, if I choose these two things and then here if I give search number of searches as 1 and start, so here if you see it is first running for gold bid to filter. Okay, and there I don't have any buy price or bid price, so it didn't do anything. And then for the next search it will switch the filter. So if you see it switched to demo filter. In the demo filter we have buy price as 450, so it bought the card, and since we specified the sell setting as well, it listed for that. Okay, so in this way you can configure the multi-salter. And like if you are not if you are unable to remove this multi-salter, just use select and click on that so that you can remove the selection. Okay, if you remove all the selection then it will run for the criteria which is given on the screen. For this criteria is what the bot will run now. Okay, so for the captcha and notification, I have a dedicated video covering these two settings. I haven't made any changes to this field recently, so I will just leave the description, I mean video of these settings in the description. You can watch that if you have any doubts in these two sections, okay? And then common settings. So this common setting is like pretty straightforward. Here you can specify the error code. So if this all error occurs 3 times in a row, then the bot will automatically stop. Okay, so that means something is wrong on the ES server side. They are like finding something, that's the reason they are giving these errors. So you can configure this and then automatically stop the bot after each of the error occurs. Okay, so that's what you can configure here. So this auto clear log is, for example, if you're running the AutoBuyer for so long, here you will have lots of logs, right? So the more the logs you have, the slower your browser will become. So to avoid that, you can enable this. So now if I run the AutoBuyer, maybe I will remove all the buy settings. I don't want to buy purchase card. I'll simply run the AutoBuyer. Okay, so it started on 3/9. So let me pause the video and resume it back sometime around 40. It is almost going to be 41. So in next few seconds, the log should automatically get cleared. So if you see, the log got cleared. Okay, so that's what this settings does. So these are the things I wanted to cover in today's video. I know this would have been like a boring video for people who already know it, but like lots of people were having doubts with these settings. So in future we can use this video as a reference to people who are newly start using the AutoBuyer. And additionally, one more thing what you can do is, whenever you have a doubt with any particular field, just click on this title. So it will take you to the documentation where you can find what that particular field does. Okay, so for example, if you click on this, like this functionality is not available for all the fields, but for most of the fields I have added the documentation. So for all the missing fields, I will try to update as soon as possible. Yeah, so I hope I was able to clear all your doubts. If you have any doubts, or if any of the setting is not clear, please leave that in the comment section. I will try to reply and clear your doubts if possible, or else we'll try to make a separate video covering the section which you need. Okay. So thanks for watching. Have a nice day.